Welcome. I am Kurt Roskoff, and I'm pleased, proud, and privileged to bring to you today's episode of Revolutionize Your Marketing, created by John Petros Sr. And we have him here ready to host the show. I come in from the Worldability Podcast Network, so Mill City Marketing MA is part of the team here and bringing us the show Revolutionize Your Marketing with John Petros Sr. from Mill City Marketing MA. So, welcome, John, to your show. Thanks for doing your show. And I understand we have a guest that is just absolutely fantastic. So, I'll let you take it over, John. Welcome to your show, Revolutionize Your Marketing. Enjoy.
Thank, thank you for the introduction, Kurt, as always. And yes, folks, welcome to Revolutionize Your Marketing. And like Kurt said, I'm John Petros Sr. and I own Mill City Marketing, MA. And yes, I do have a special guest tonight coming to us from the lovely country of Canada, Toronto to be specific. And welcome, Kellina.
Thank you so much for having me today. Excited to be here.
No problem. Good to have you. So let's start off and let everybody know who you are. Well, now they know you're from Toronto, Canada. And why don't you tell them how you got started to doing what you're doing?
Yeah, for sure. So, hello, everybody. My name is Kellina Powell, aka the Deaf Queen Boss. I am, again, located in Toronto, and I do a lot of things. So, I'm an international speaker, a life coach, and a youth advocate for the disability community. So, how I got started, it was very weird, I would say. So, I actually started attending to a networking event with a friend of mine. And imagine though, at the time I had a business. And so a friend of mine was like, "Oh, come with me to a networking event." And I said, "Okay." And I had no business knowledge at that time when I was 22 years old, everyone. 22, you're young, you're not thinking about business world, you're thinking more like, "Oh, let's go to the party." And so it was so crazy because I actually closed my first speaking gig at that one first networking event. And then from there, everything was a history. Everybody else started recognizing me, and I actually love your social media a lot, and that's how I got started with everything that I'm currently doing.
Good. So explain to everybody about the coaching that you do. Let's start off there.
Okay. Okay. So my life coaching started when I was 24. So I was 2 years into the business, very fresh and new. And it all came about when I started speaking for students in the schools. And a student came up to me and said, like, I would love to have a conversation with you and see how you can help me. And so I thought to myself, like, maybe I can help a student. And from there on, I realized that maybe I could do coaching instead of going back to school to go do my master's degree. I have a psychology degree, and I'm like, wait, I can actually help this child. And so something just clicked to me. I did a lot of research online. I said, I really want to help so much younger generation to let them know that they're not alone in this world, especially myself, hard of hearing. I didn't have any role models myself. And so I came across life coaching and I'm like, oh, this is something I could do. And so I closed my big partnership with the biggest organization for the mental health community. And from there on, I created such a good relationship. And then people noticed my work, and then I started to become full-time author, trying to write in books along with everything I do. So that's basically how I got started.
Interesting. You're an author, I believe, of 4 books.
Yeah, 4 books.
See, I do my research. Um, it's interesting the things that you are involved in too. Especially the life coach part, because my wife is also a life coach. She just took a course for the second year in a row. Um, a year long course. Um, and as far as being an author, I just got I haven't created the thing yet, but I am becoming an author in a collaborative book. uh, which is relatively new. Um, they hope to publish the book in a couple of weeks, and
Congratulations.
I'm also working on two other books myself. So
Three.
I'm going to have help to get those books done. Uh, so yeah, it'll be three books that I'm in. Um, so it feels good to be an author.
It
And
does. It does.
I got inspired to do it. The funny thing is, the two books I'm working on myself, one is a business book on customer acquisition, and the other one is at the other end of the spectrum, a kid's bedtime story book. My wife also does daycare, so a little inspiration there too. But
Hey, okay. That looks so good.
and you said you do speaking as well?
Yes, international speaker. Yeah. Yeah.
International speaker. That's a nice title to have, along with everything else. Um, so what kind of speaking do you do?
So I do a lot of writer speaking for the disability community, the youth community, and mental health community as well. So I do talk a lot about, I would say, motivation speaking, where I talk about my story, how I became deaf at the age of 4 due to an ear infection. So I do a lot of motivation speaking, inspiring people, and I also do close a lot of topics such as like mental health awareness. Even as well, like what is the issue that's facing in today's world, especially when I talk to parents and educational professional as well.
I see too that as far as the mental health goes, we have a mutual connection, Mary Stanley. I
Mm-hmm.
believe I saw you connected with her on LinkedIn too.
Yes, yes.
Stanley, Mary knows me very well from Alignable. Both of us are also very active on the Alignable platform. Which I don't know if you're on Alignable or not, but that's a good business platform.
Yeah, I
Um,
started a platform 4 months ago. So it's been really great so far. It's very interesting. People that learn in me, and I was like, wow. So it's very cool. So
yeah, right now there's 9 million businesses across the U.S. and Canada on Alignable. It's growing fast.
it
Um,
is.
and another person that you would be interested in talking with too is Kurt here. He does like the name of his network here is the Disability Network. He does a lot with um, disabled veterans and things too. Um, so I'm sure he'll be hooking up with you
Good.
on a conversation soon. But so what gets you into all these different things? Are they all kind of like tied together?
Yeah, they're all tied together. The reason why I got to what I do is because I never wanted the next generation to feel like they're alone in this world. Just like the way when I was growing up, I felt alone and I didn't have any role model at all. And role models is the key nowadays, especially the way the social media is growing, especially like social media, no more I would say there's no more, what's the word now? There's not enough good role model for the younger generation. I would say that. They're more into
Yeah.
flashy and TikTok. It's just way out of like proportion and it's just weird. And they're selling false hope to the young people, thinking like, oh yeah, you should do this and you should do that. But it's like, how? Right? And so I just wish that. So anyway, so I wanted to make more impact to the younger generation to let them know that they're not alone in this world and that there's somebody like myself who's young, who have a disability, that's able
Mhm.
to become successful in her life. So that's why I do what I do. So all connected to the disability community and the youth community as well, just to put more into the community.
Mhm. Yeah, okay. Um, like I said, I believe I mentioned that this would be a good way to get the word out too about what you do is coming on to my podcast. Um, I was going somewhere with that now and I lost track. I think I need some mental help sometimes. But I lost my train of thought.
It's
Does,
okay.
doesn't that figure? Um, um, where was I going? Been one of those hectic days, weeks around here. We have a couple of extra kids that are staying here. My niece is in the hospital. So
Oh no, I'm sorry to hear.
we have her two youngest ones, a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Oh,
God help
babies.
me.
Oh,
God help
okay.
me. I thought those days were gone. But no,
No.
it's fun having them here. You might hear them in the background. Um, so where have you done the speaking? And
So I have done my speaking in Dubai, and I have done my speaking in Africa, and I have done my speaking in Europe as well. And they all so the one in Dubai, it talked about how to be inclusive in the daycare space, which is very interesting. I never really tap into daycare, but I'm always tap into education. And as well, Africa, I did like a mentorship presentation, where I talked a lot about myself as being an author. And in Europe, I did spoke about how to be inclusive in the workplace as well. And I had spoke obviously in Canada, where I am, and then the United States as well.
so you touch on a lot of different topics. Very well-rounded person, I guess.
You could say that,
Um,
yeah.
have any of your um, speeches recorded?
So some of them are recorded, not all of them, because they have a strict rule. So it's like okay. So,
Okay. And before I forget, if anybody is interested in getting a hold of you, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
everybody can find me on my website, KellinaEmpowerment.com, or people can get a hold of me through social media, either Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook.
Okay. And you said you're on the Alignable platform too, right?
Yes, I am.
So they
Yes.
can find you there too, and among the other 9 million people. But
Oh my goodness, that's a lot of people.
yeah, it is. I'm connected with over 2,200 of them myself.
A
I've only
lot.
been on the platform for 2.5 years.
That's really good, though. Wow.
I became an ambassador for them in northern Massachusetts, southern New Hampshire, about a year ago.
Congratulations.
So now I have an area that I do an in-person networking in for the local businesses. And we just started that last January. It's only been a year now. And I've got it built to 260 people, and it's
Really
growing every week.
good. That's really good. I mean, some people can't get to 160. Just be honest.
If I could get a small amount of them to show up every month, I'd be doing good. But yeah, so yeah, how are you finding that platform? Are you finding it interesting?
Yeah, it's very interesting. Very interesting in terms of finding out different businesses. I live in Canada. We don't really have that type of platform in Canada. So the United States is the first one that I ever came across. And number two, I would say I love the fact that it's a community-based platform. So like I like the fact that everybody is really trying to uplift each other, not trying to downgrade each other. So that's what I really love about the platform.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I've been finding out with it too over the past 2.5 years. Um, but um, I know Kurt would love to talk to you. So, Kurt, are you still available out there in the background? It may take him a minute to pop in here. Um, He's been doing this a lot longer than me. He's a lot better at coming up with questions. There he is.
Hello,
I,
guys.
it, I'll tell you one thing, Kellina. It's his network, but I call him my co-host.
That's what it is. It's what it is. So, so Kalina, when you carry out your work and you look at your plans for the year and whatever, as you make your commitments, what would you say drives you? What do you think your contribution is? Kind of, what would you say the reason people bring you in as a speaker? Kind like I hear you're motivational speakers, so I gather your passion and satisfaction comes when you can help someone out there as a person with a disability realize what they can do despite the reaction they're getting from society and so forth. But a lot of people are doing what you do. So if you look at you have a chance to be the best at what you do or unique,
Unique, yeah.
distinguished, what's the distinctive thing that makes it your thing, Kalina? What do you bring out that nobody else does?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. I would say it's the why I'm doing it. It's always been my passion when I was young. I always wanted to help people when I was young. And number two is my grandmother and my godfather passed away, and but for COVID they passed away. And before they passed, they literally said to me, "You're going to make a change in the world. I don't know what it is, but I can see it in you." And so when they passed away, I always knew that I wanted to keep the word and moving forward in life. So if it wasn't for them too telling me that in person before they passed away, I wouldn't be here right now. Yeah. And also as well, why would people want to talk to me? It's because I'm a very bubbly person. I love, I go above and beyond when it comes to people, my personality. I'm more of a relationship person. So I don't just like, hey, yeah, this is what I do. And then, I'm out the door. I'm more of like getting to know you, like, okay, how can I help you? How can I support you? What for a partner you're looking for? And I'm all about uplifting other people. And I noticed that when you uplift your network will also uplift you as well. And that's something I always follow through. And that's always been my value when I came to business.
Fantastic. So when you look at your life journey, Kalina, and whatever plans you've already made, whatever commitments that fall on your calendar, and you're looking forward to a lot of things, can you speak to what playing this role and having this type of reception from all of us, like describe what that means to you, like in your life, you know, like a human need is self-actualization and to be self-fulfilled. Can you describe what this journey is like for you, what it does for yourself?
Yeah. Oh my God. It took me a long time to get here. I think when you start your business, you're overwhelmed. You don't know what's happening. Your stuff is all over the place. Like you don't take care of yourself properly because you want things to be done. And you're watching other people, then you have this going on and you have personal life going on. And so for me, I personally how I see my life moving forward is I love hiring, virtual assistant, volunteer students, and also too, I love hiring mentors. So I have coaches and mentors who help me and guide me, so that way I'm not really by myself in the business because it does get lonely when you get to the top, like they say. So it's very important to have somebody beside you to help you and uplift you like, hey, it's okay, you got this, keep moving forward. So, and number three, being surrounded by community, just like Anonymous, any other community platform, is very important to get yourself involved in the community because you're gonna need help. And so I realized that it's okay to ask for help when I started my company in second year, and I'm like, okay, I need help. So yeah.
So kind of to take that a little further, when you look at what you know you can do, what you're set to do, and where you brought it, it's a regular thing in life. Like we have an appetite to do what we do, and we're ready, and we're proposing it, and we're doing our things to the scale that we're ready. But the world and life and other people just we just find that other people aren't at the same magnitude that we are, or maybe completely just, you know, kind of sidestepping it and not, moving it forward, the roadblocks, or like we say in disability advocacy, the barriers. Can you describe that a little bit in terms of where you showed up to deliver and to make plans, and then you didn't get the reception to go ahead and do what you know you can do? Where has that shown up for you?
Yeah, showing up for me is planning. I love planning. I always have a conversation with whatever I'm about to do. And number two, I honestly research ahead of time. So before I do anything, I do my research. Because if I don't do my research, I'm gonna be overwhelmed. And I'm more of a plan ahead person. And number two, I would say is that I just honestly it's really about your mindset, really, right? Programming yourself like, okay, I have this, right? You have to take a step back from everything that's happening because I feel like if you're stressed out and you're always going, you're not gonna get things done. And that's something I realized with myself, how to prepare myself. What is that I'm good at and what is that I'm not good at. So for me, for example, sometimes I'm not good at like before I was not good at acting. The person, for example, I used to go on podcasts a lot, was making sure there's a closed caption on there. And I had a team member who would do that for me and say, hey, do you have a closed caption on there? Because Kellina required this. And I was like, oh, you just asked. And they're like, yeah, you're supposed to ask. So I feel like when I started, I was nervous to accommodate myself, but now I feel more confident. Say, okay, I need closed caption. Is it working or just not? Because I realize that not everybody is willing to accommodate you. And accommodation is a big issue now that a lot of people are afraid of acting. And it's very important that you always continue asking for accommodation for yourself. So yeah.
Okay, so you're you're a practitioner of sign language, is that correct?
I'm not a sign language interpreter myself. So I rely on lip reading and closed caption. So that's why a lot of people call me hard of hearing. So I used to sign when I was younger, but then when I grew up, the deaf school was too far from my home. So I ended up switching to the hearing school full time and I lost all my signs. And so I was not able to communicate in my sign like I was when I was younger. So yeah.
But can you speak to that a little bit? Because, my observation is that when we have a society that doesn't adopt, sign language, and then some advocates have pointed out, like, a lot of schools support learning a foreign language, but then we're not seeing sign language being that, additional language for students to learn, and I think there's a logistical opportunity that's always been there, and we still haven't gotten there. But the benefit for every person to embrace sign language would dovetail back to you, that if we all were doing sign language together, that would benefit you, but we all benefit together, correct? If we all learn
Exactly.
sign language, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because the one thing that, again, through repetitive experience, the conclusion I've drawn is that, folks who are in the deaf and hard of hearing community, I'm noticing in life we all pick our battles. We all look at, get out of it what you put into it. And there's this thing of, if you're a person who is deaf, and then you have to look at who you're going to engage with. And like every hour of the day, you
Yeah.
have to worry about if there's that participatory practicality, sign language, closed captioning, whatever it is to make the communication real. And it just gets to a point, how much is a person going to keep, making the preparations and the plans, and then the rest of the society just gets to go, and like John and I and Sue, and we just get to go and we just function in our capacity and kind of in our stylings, and we don't really live in a world where we do this together.
Yeah.
Is that something that comes into like, do you share that type of stuff with people in your journey?
Um, I do with my client. I do with my clients. I share those type of story. Not a lot of people really ask me about those type of story. They always just ask about the motivation, what got me moving, how did I move forward? It's more of that, but we're never like, how can we interpreter can be beneficial in all of our conversation. I only come across those if I'm talking to my community, which is the disability and the deaf and hard of hearing community. But when I talk to the hearing, I always make sure I bring it up. Like, also as well, it's very important that we do bring an interpreter in because it's very important that we continue bringing that awareness. And I noticed a lot of people avoid that topic so much. And I don't know why. And it's just like, what's the problem? Why are we avoiding this type of topic? Because for me personally, if I were, hard of hearing and I sign, would anybody talk about that? No. And so that is one of the biggest issue I noticing now, like you said, like we cannot bring it in together if the school system is, even though they're allowing forming language like Spanish and French, but it's like, okay, what about the sign language, right? So it all starts from going to school. The schools are the one that teaching the next generation. Why are we not bringing it into the school system? Right? So that's something, and you're right. It's something that we have to, but unfortunately, we don't see it, like you said. I don't know why the problem is the problem, but it's true.
And so, Kalina, you have your whole life ahead of you, and you're doing what you're doing today, and you're setting in the motion what might come for decades ahead of you. If you were to dream and visualize and forecast what your lifetime achievement might become, what would you suppose that might be your lifetime achievement? What could that be for you? What are you thinking?
Um, I won. There's a lot of things I would love to do. I would my top two. My first one is creating more affordable courses for interpreter. I noticed a lot of people cannot afford sign up for courses, especially those who really want to be an interpreter. That I would make it affordable, and then I also would do a lot of partnership in terms of with the hospital to bring in more interpreter into it. So I would love to do that. And then number two, for the youth community, I would love to create more disability camp globally, not just in Canada, United States, but also elsewhere that doesn't have one. So it's very limited when you see disability camps.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, Kalina, it's nice to have you here. We're just going to take a few more minutes with John here. John, what do you want to do to wrap this up? We're in our closing few minutes here. What do you have for us, John, for the ending? And you're
Oh,
still
you're muted.
muted.
Oops.
There-
Oops. Hey, it happens. Um, so Kalina, with what Kurt's been saying, um, how much of your outlook, how you look at the future, how much do you bring that out when you do your speaking?
What do you mean?
When you go to these international speaking engagements, do you bring out, do you mention about your outlook, what you want to get out of what you're doing?
Oh yeah, 100%. I always get what I get when I'm afterward, and I love the fact that people are engaging. So that's how I know that people are learning, they're asking questions. So
Okay. Um, if you don't mind me asking,
okay,
how, what age were you at when you had the disability?
at 4.
Or
Yeah, it was a
when,
huge transition for the family. How to communicate. Cause when you're 4, you just
yeah,
started learning how to talk. So that were a huge transition. Speech therapist. My family had to find a speech therapist, and then I had to get comfortable using my hearing aid. So I used to put my hearing aid in the garbage before you guys. So
Yeah, my wife keeps telling me I need hearing aids, but I said, no, you just need to talk a little louder. But so over the years, you've come a long way from the age of 4, um, which is very uplifting to anybody who talks to you, um, especially those with disabilities. I've always said, and I'm sure Kurt will agree with this, anybody can overcome a disability as long as you have the persistence to follow through with it and the ambition to actually try and do it.
okay.
Um, and you're a prime example of that.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it, John. Thank you.
Am I right, Kurt?
That's right, John. Yep, good. So, John, why don't we wrap up here? We know Kellina has another commitment coming right
Yeah.
on the tail of the show, so why don't we wrap up and make it comfortable for her next thing?
So once again, Kellina, let people know how they can get a hold of you.
Sure. Everybody can get a hold of me on Facebook, Instagram, and Alignable through Kellina Powell. And also as well my website, KellinaEmpowerment.com.
Okay. And as far as getting a hold of me, folks, you can contact me by email. It's millcitymarketingma@gmail.com. You can look me up by my name on Alignable, pretty much any social media platform. As far as viewing the recording of this podcast, of any of my other previous podcasts, most of them, if you go to YouTube, type in Mill City Marketing MA, and they will all come up. Um, there's a couple in it, book reviews, a 14-year-old girl that I had on, which I think Kurt will remember her, that's for sure. Uh, um, as far as my upcoming podcasts, folks, I have some very special ones coming up, especially on Friday, February the 13th. That's right, one of those days. But this gentleman has had a near-death experience, and his story is incredible. Um, when I heard him on another podcast, I said, I got to contact him and invite him on mine. And he was more than willing to come on. So put that one on your calendars, folks. February 13th, Friday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time, 4 o'clock Central. Um, Go to YouTube, type in Mill City Marketing MA and hit the live button. If you happen to miss it that day, the recording will be there after that. And the week after that will be a good one too, if anybody's into numerology. That will be the topic the week after. So a couple of good weeks there coming up. But stay tuned every Friday, live at 5, as Kate will say. Any final notes from you, Kurt?
Well, this has been a production of World Ability Podcast Network. I'm Kurt Roskoff with added thanks for Kellina Powell for being our guest today. What a dynamo you are, Kellina. We look forward to more with you in the future. And thank you, John, for producing the show and sponsorship by Mill City Marketing MA. We'll see you next time.
Bye, folks.